Hello, this is Jack from Fluency.com, and today we are going to talk about the power of repetition and why this is so important for you as an English learner, the power of repetition. So recently I made a video talking about the power of input and why input is such an important part of being able to express yourself freely in English and to be able to understand other people when they speak. Now, it works like this. When you get lots of inputs, you can store sentences in your brain. And then, when it comes to speaking, you can take parts of all those sentences that you have learned and express yourself in a natural way. This means you'll be able to speak English without thinking about grammar rules, without having to look for that phrase that you want to use. It will just come out naturally. So this is a stage I want you to reach. I want you to get to this stage because it just makes everything so much easier. So I talked about the power of input and how you can read lots of things in English, how you need to listen to English all the time to get the input that you need so that you can store these sentences in your brain. But there is another way to do this too. Another way to store sentences in your brain and to be really efficient about how you do it. And it works like this. Firstly, you take sentences relevant to you. So you find sentences that are relevant to the way you want to speak English and what you need to learn. A good example of this is using high frequency used phrases. So phrases that people use in everyday English. Again, step 1 is to find sentences specific to you. Step 2 is to make digital flashcards. Now, I much prefer digital flashcards because, as we're going to see soon, we can use software that is going to give us the sentences when we need to see them. The problem of writing down your own flashcards is that it's very difficult to create a system so that you're doing things effectively, whereas software is going to take care of this for you. And we're going to talk about the app you need in a second. Step 3 is to repeat these sentences in the most effective way. Again, this is a huge part of it because our time is limited. We only have so much time to do the things we want to do in a day. So we don't want to spend time unnecessarily learning sentences. We want to do it in an effective way. And that's where the software we're going to talk about comes into play. That's where we're going to start using this software. But again, the key point is to be really effective with this. Now, before we go deep into this method, I want to give you 3 sentences and then look at some of the examples that we can create based on internalizing these 3 sentences. Okay, so look at these sentences. I'm not excited about going to the party. He was excited about seeing her. Do you think you're going to be excited about it later? Now, let's say that you store these sentences in your brain, that you repeat them enough so that you know them off by heart. You know them naturally. Because we learn things in chunks, because we can take parts of sentences and construct them together, it means that you'll have so many different phrases to use just based on these 3 sentences. So, for example, you'll be able to take part of the first sentence and the second sentence and say, I'm not excited about seeing her. Or, he was excited about going to the party. But not only that, you're going to notice rules. You're going to notice patterns. And this is different than learning grammar rules. Instead, you're going to just notice them in a more natural way. So, looking at those sentences again, you can see after about, we use the gerund. Okay? About going, about seeing. So when you see lots and lots of similar sentences, instead of just saying things like, he was excited about seeing her, you'll be able to say, I was excited about meeting them. And you can see all the different combinations of this sentence that you can use. But you can only do this if you internalize sentences first. You need to internalize lots of sentences in order to speak in this flexible way and to do so naturally without thinking about grammar rules, without being in that moment when you're thinking about the grammar rules that you need to use. Instead, you just internalize it and it comes out more naturally. Now, if you do this properly and you stay consistent with it, if you take sentences that you need to know, powerful sentences, if you repeat them in an effective way, and if you just work on your speaking as well at the same time, then you'll be able to produce English at the right time, the right English at the right time, without thinking about rules, without making too many mistakes, and you'll be a much more confident English speaker. Now, repetition is a big part of this. And again, it's important to repeat things when you need to repeat them. And the forgetting curve explains this in a very clear way. So let's take a look at that now. Here is a good example of the forgetting curve. And this just shows the power of repetition. So along here, you can see time in terms of weeks. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, etc. But over here is the percentage of memory retention, which just means how well you remember something. So you can think about this as for newly learned information as being a new word, a sentence, or anything new in English. So if you don't repeat this newly learned information, you can see your memory goes down. The retention goes down. But if you repeat it here, you can see how the percentage memory is a little bit higher. If you repeat it for a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time, then the percentage of memory retention is much higher. So this is the key to repetition. It's going to allow you to remember things much better. And again, we can do this using software so that we're repeating things in the most efficient way possible. Now, the software that I recommend you use for this is called Anki, A-N-K-I. Now, I've been using this for many years, and I actually have Anki cards inside my To Fluency program. So I am a big fan of this software. There are other apps available as well, but I recommend trying this one first. So the software is going to allow you to see the sentences that you need to see when you need to see them. And I recommend doing all of this in English. If you're going to translate things, then translate the whole sentence and make sure that it's correct. Or on the back of the Anki cards, you can also just put a little key or something that helps you remember what it is you're learning. But the key part to this is to understand the sentence first and then get repetition. Let's look at how Anki works now. Now here we are inside Anki. And Anki works like this. You have different decks, which just means systems or groups of flashcards. And I just downloaded from my To Fluency program the verb patterns deck. So if we click this, then we click Study Now. I want to do it. It's going to give you the audio for these flashcards. So this one is all about verb patterns. And we can see I want to do it is a verb pattern. After want, we use the infinitive to do. I want to do it. So inside my program, I have lessons on various topics, and then you can download these flashcards and put them into Anki. Now, before I go through exactly how to use this, you can use Anki on your computer, on your phone. It's free except for iPhone users. And then I think it's about $25 for the lifetime of this app. But it's worth it if you have to buy it because it's going to make a huge difference if you use it properly. Now, I highly recommend learning sentences, like I've mentioned, and that is why I provide sentences and audio for you. Now, you can add your own Anki sentences very easily when you come across them, which is a phrasal verb. But I'm just going to use these as an example from my program. So what I recommend you do is one of three things. Either read it and listen, or write it down, or repeat it out loud. So let's just click show answer. And then this is when you evaluate yourself. You can say, all right, that one is easy. I can see that in the next 4 days. Or I want to see that again in less than a minute. Or I want to see it in less than 10 minutes. So let's just say less than 1 minute because it's difficult.
He enjoyed going there.
This one, he enjoyed going there. Again, write it down, speak or repeat it out loud, or just listen. Now let's just say that one was easy. Click easy.
They managed to finish it just in time.
They managed to finish it just in time. That one was hard, so we'll do that again.
I always avoid going that way.
I always avoid going that way. Let's just say that was easy.
I offered to help.
I offered to help. Let's say that was easy.
He wants us to continue doing it.
That's difficult. He wants us to continue doing it. Let's say again.
They wanted me to work too many hours.
They wanted me to work too many hours. Good.
I promised to go.
That's easy.
I thought about saying something.
Let's just say that was
He's
easy.
interested in helping us, I think.
He's interested in helping us, I think. Easy.
He's going to want us to help him.
Okay, so you can see you can go through this. Now, all of these are new sentences, but what happens in Anki is that as you go through your initial deck, the first time you study them, the next time you're going to see some of them again tomorrow, some of them again in 2 days, some of them again in 4 days. So as you add new sentences, you're going to get a lot more sentences. Now, if that sounds complicated, I go through that in depth inside my program. But I just wanted to show you exactly how Anki works. So, with Anki, you can see that you get lots of repetition when you need to see it. And it's very effective in the way it does this. When it comes to learning sentences, I highly recommend looking for sentences that have audio as well, so that you can hear the sentence. English isn't phonetic. And what you're doing if you get audio is you're getting the listening input that you need, and you can also repeat the sentence back. But if you come across a sentence that's relevant to you when you're reading an article or reading a book or listening to a podcast, and you think this is a good sentence to know, then enter it into Anki and save it as a flashcard. Here are some tips now to help you better use this method. So, firstly, when it comes to what you need to do with the sentence, I recommend doing one of three things. Either reading it in your head, reading it out loud, so repeating it, or writing the sentence down. It depends on you and the sentence at the time, because if you feel like it's more of a passive sentence, then maybe you just need to read it. If it's an active sentence, then say it or write it down. And I like to use a combination of these three things. So sometimes read it, sometimes say it out loud, and sometimes write it down. And when you're writing it down, just take a pen, relax, copy it, and then move on to the next card. Again, use audio phrases if possible. This is an important part of this. So if you can find sentences with audio, it's going to make this much more powerful because you're going to hear the English and you'll be able to better say it out loud without making mistakes. And finally, be consistent with it. So take about 5 to 10 minutes a day at first and start using this method. That's all you need for this method, 5 to 10 minutes a day. Add around 5 cards a day, maybe 10 at first, but then think about how, because you're going to be repeating other cards, then it can get very busy. You'll get a lot of cards to repeat if you add 20 a day every day. So be smart with it. Go slowly at first, be consistent with it, and then add more cards when you feel comfortable. Now, if you want cards ready-made for you and fluency phrases, then join the To Fluency program, because I have all the different phrases that I think are relevant to English learners from conversational English, and I have created these materials for you. So to learn more about the To Fluency program, click the link in the description. And then finally, I just want to know your thoughts on this method. So leave a comment below telling me what you think about this method, if you have used it before, and if you are going to start using it now if you haven't done it. So leave a comment below and tell me what you think. And then if you are new here, then subscribe to this channel. We release a video at least once a week, every Wednesday. And also please share this video with your friends. I'll be very grateful if you did that. And then while you're here, why not watch another video? They'll be on your screen now. Thank you again for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.